Hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much for dropping by this video. Hello, Jason. Welcome. So, I have an interesting question. What are you? And I don't mean I'm not asking, are you a male? Are you an American? Are you a Catholic? But what are you? If we dig a little deep underneath some of those labels, well, we can say, oh, I'm a human being. Okay, but let's dig even deeper. What are we? What are we? What is this thing? We use the word I all day long. I want this. I want that. And me. That didn't feel good to me. But we almost never ask, what am I? Who am I? Underneath all the stories and labels and history. So, on the deepest level, a spiritual level, various teachers from different traditions say that we're a soul. We don't have a soul, we are a soul, that we have a body. That may be at the core. And when I say maybe, what I mean is we each have to find out for ourselves if that's true. Really, with any spiritual or religious teaching, we have to find out if it's true. We can't just believe it. Belief can only take us so far, and belief can be helpful. But we need to know the truth. So I want to, so we started on the surface, like labels, like, for example, myself, male, American, United States citizen, American. I threw out Catholic as an example. I'm not a Catholic. I don't know what my religion is. I'm kind of all the religions. So universalist. So, and let's then go a little, and then we went all the way to the core. Oh, I'm a soul. Now let's come in between all those things and soul, and ask, what are we? Well, I have an answer for us to try that works for me, and please try it out for yourself and see. What I am is a student. I'm a learner. So, you might be like, but you graduated from college already and you're not in school. Well, the reason why I apply the term learner to myself is that I'm convinced that life is a school. And not only is life a school, but learning is one of, if not the fundamental activity that we're meant to be doing here. That's the purpose, the function of all of this. Now, I don't mean learning in the sense of acquiring information, though that can be helpful. So we need to put aside, I invite us all to put aside our ideas of what we think learning is and open up to maybe a different idea. I'm going to say the way I understand myself and the way I understand life is I'm actually learning how to do life. I'm learning how to be poetic, how to flow with life, how to be successful. I'm not talking in material terms, though that can be part of it, and not just can be, that is a part of it, to have my material needs provided for. But how to do this dance that is life. Because let's face it, life is not I was raised, the way I was raised was, kind of the meaning of life is you get a job, you get married, you have kids, and you do fun things. Like that's what life was all about. And each of us was raised with, or maybe we've kind of come up with our own view of what's life about. Well, I've put those aside and I've taken on a new view that life is about learning how to do life. And I'll say a little bit more about that in a moment, but let's take some time and connect to what I call the life force, or not what many people, there's many different terms for it, but the energy of life, a spiritual healing life force that can not just energize us, but actually heal, can actually guide us. And so to anyone who's new, it's very simple to do. Please sit with your legs uncrossed, feet flat on the floor, hands on your legs, palms facing upwards. And then please close your eyes. And take a moment and let go of everything not good, giving it away, handing it over to life itself. And then asking to receive. There's different words for it: the living waters, the energy of life, prana. Christians call it the Holy Spirit, a divine living energy. And observe your body, having the intention to take that energy in. So we'll sit for a few minutes. Noticing what you feel. So if you're new to this channel, I invite you to continue this practice of intending to receive this divine life energy. So I put forth, I want to put it as an experiment. Try it on. See if it works for you. It really works for me. But I want to add a little more context. And to do that, I want to mention one of my favorite movies. So for those who can't read, my shirt says, "May the F equals MA be with you." I'll give everyone a moment to think about that before I say what it means. May the F equals MA be with you. Actually, I'll ask anyone who's live, any guesses? Or not guesses. Does anyone know what my shirt's referring to? Yes, Jason is right. It's a reference to Star Wars. This is the physics equation for force. Force equals mass times acceleration. May the force be with you, which of course is a phrase from Star Wars. And in physics, force, meaning power, equals mass times acceleration. So this is a super nerd shirt. I've just outed myself as a nerd. Star Wars plus physics. But one of the reasons I believe the movie Star Wars was so popular is that it captured a universal spiritual idea that there is a power or a force that we can align ourselves with, and can, through that energy, it can do what is literally impossible for human beings to do. And so in the Star Wars movies, there's this idea of being a Jedi, one who has devoted themselves to, um, in the movies, what's emphasized is a little bit more the fighting aspect. But really, if you watch the movies carefully, a Jedi is someone who has devoted themselves to surrendering and being in service to this force, to this energy, to this power. And that's what I believe we are all here. That's the school I believe we're in. We're all Jedis in training. For my super Star Wars savvy friends, we're all Padawans. That's the Star Wars terminology for someone who's training to be a Jedi. I am utterly convinced that is the meaning of life. Not that we're going to gain these cool powers and go around fighting people, but that we are all here to learn the lesson of aligning ourselves with, being guided by, and actually being helped by the force. They define the force in the movie as an energy field that surrounds us, that penetrates us, that binds the universe together. Now, if George Lucas had just added in an energy field that surrounds us, penetrates us, binds the universe together, and created the universe, then that would be a pretty good definition of God in my book. And for whatever reason, he left that out. So if we add that caveat, that this force or energy I'm talking about isn't just neutral, it's just not this energy that we can learn how to use and then do whatever we want with it, but actually is a field of order, a field of harmony, a field of goodness. And I'm utterly convinced that the meaning of life, the ultimate meaning of life, is to learn how to align ourselves with this goodness and be guided by it. But again, don't take my word for it. Find out for yourself. So let's spend a little time connecting to the force, having the intention to receive this energy, noticing what you feel, taking in this goodness. Using my metaphor, I consider the greatest Jedi of all time. And let me redefine Jedi, because again, in Star Wars, Jedi, the emphasis is on fighting. I consider the greatest Jedi of all time to be Jesus Christ. Oh boy, I say that a little nervous, like I'm going to get in trouble for saying that. And I'm talking metaphorically here. But listen, before anyone gets angry, please hear what I mean. Jesus exemplified a life of aligning with God, surrendering to God, being a conduit for God, that this infinite energy was able to focus and move through Jesus to the point where matter could be rearranged, that healings could happen, that water could be walked on, that a dead body could be brought back to life. And it's written that Jesus said, I have to paraphrase here, but in essence, that he only did what God the Father wanted him to do. That is surrender. It's written that Jesus spoke of himself as a servant of God. Now, if we take this idea of God as a harmonious, loving, orderly energy that's all pervasive, that is our source and maker, like a parent, then hopefully my metaphor isn't too offensive to people. And at least one person loves it. So here's the thing. It's written that Jesus said, these things and greater shall you do. It's written that Jesus said that called us to know and do God's will. And early Christians believed in something called theosis, that they believed that the message of Jesus Christ was how to become more like Jesus, in essence, more like God. Now, I didn't say become God, but become more godly, more like God. It's a travesty of history that in the 21st century, what I just said is considered blasphemy in most churches, and that it's actually what Jesus taught and what early Christians believed in, that we are all in this process of learning how to be more like our Maker. Now, the paradox of this process is it's not something we can do just through our own effort. The other paradox is it's not something we do just through being like, okay, God, you take care of everything. There's a very powerful middle ground of being humble, of making our own efforts, and being helped and guided by this infinite, loving, wise energy. Okay, good. There's a second person who likes the metaphor. Maybe I won't get burned at the stake today. Thank you, Magdalena. Please don't take my word for this. Please reflect on, meditate on, come to your own conclusion. So let's spend a little more time connecting with the Force. Noticing what you feel. And, asking deep within yourself, is this weirdo on YouTube, is what he's saying true? Now, please be clear. I'm using a metaphor here, but I'm using this metaphor to point to a profound universal spiritual teaching, the idea of of surrendering to God, being guided by God, and being helped by the power of God. Those are universal. You'll find them in every single major world religion and a lot of smaller sects and denomination have them as well. So I'm just using the metaphor of Star Wars, which is one of the most beloved movies of all time, to point out that you're in Jedi school. So let's spend a little time taking in this energy and reflecting on what I'm saying. And please, you can find your own ways to express these universal truths. So, anyone who's new to this channel, it's based on the life and work of a man named Bruno Groening, who was truly the most Christ-like being I've ever heard of. And by Christ-like, I mean tens of thousands of healings happened in his presence. And he said that what he was teaching with the teachings of Jesus Christ, cancer, deafness, blindness, paralysis, Insanity would literally just vanish in his presence. He radiated so much energy, people said it was that the room would shake. He was such a conduit of this energy that in his presence, and not just in his presence, I remember one story, someone went to see him and there was such a huge crowd that, they were so far away that he was only like this big, like a half an inch or a few centimeters. So, they got within maybe, like a quarter mile of him. And an illness just left, an illness that they had had for many years. He just radiated this energy so strongly. And he said some very interesting things. One of them is, he said, just as I am a big sender of this energy, so are you little senders. Meaning that we are all receivers and senders of this divine energy. In Star Wars, it's just limited to a few people who have this capacity to connect to. But Bruno Groening was adamant that everyone was a receiver and sender of this divine energy. Also, he said, people call me a master of life, or a master. Well, what is a master? A master is someone who knows their trade. I want all of you to become masters of life. So Bruno Groening, from a spiritual point of view, was a master. As I said, tens of thousands of healings happened. He could look at someone and know everything about them. He could see the past, he could see the future. With his mind, he could manipulate matter. He demonstrated this so many times. And he was also able to stay at peace, regardless of heavy, very intense, heavy and painful life circumstances. Under all circumstances, he was able to be at peace. So that's my definition of a master. And he said, I have come to return balance to humanity, that they may become masters over matter. And he also said, I have to paraphrase this one, just believe, dear friends, that I am nothing more than your friend and helper. I'm just a conduit, an instrument of God, which in fact you are too. You've only just forgotten. In essence, he said, what I can do, you can do. What I am, you are. And as I've pointed out, that same message can be found in the Bible. And it's what early Christians believed that Jesus taught as well. That we're all learning to become Jedis. Said in a religious or spiritual language, we're all learning how to be instruments, servants of, in service to, conduits for, instruments for God. And that's why I see myself as a student. And that's the school I understand myself to be in. You could say the Christ school, or the be more like Christ school. A Catholic priest a friend of mine, he said the whole message, the whole gospel, the message of Jesus was to be more like him. I disagree that that's the whole message, but I believe that's one of the essential components. So very warm welcome to anyone who's new. Hi, Magdalena. Hi, Jisoo. Thanks for saying hi, everyone. And Magdalena supplied the emojis. Thank you. So to anyone who's new to this channel, you can find more information at the link below. And I'll post it right here in the chat right now. So let's close, taking in this goodness. Noticing what you feel. Hmm. Let's dedicate this day to learning. Dearest, I'm going to say a little prayer. Dearest Maker, Source, Love, Infinite, all around us, within us, that which we're made in the image and likeness of. Thank you so much for one more day of life in this body, on this earth. Please help us to make good use of time. Please help us to become good learners and learn humility, faith, alignment, how to surrender and align with you, be guided by you, to be aware of the things that block us from you and to let those go. To watch our thoughts, recognizing that our thoughts are one of, if not the most powerful influences in our lives. To become very mindful of our thoughts. To seek connection with you, recognizing that the feel of connection with you, communion with you, is one of, if not the deepest joys of life, and helps us to feel whole and complete and can actually heal. For everyone who attended today, please, and everyone who watches this video, please, for this channel, all related activities, please, for everyone sharing the work of Bruno Groening, please, for all those striving for the good, please, for all those who have lost hope, let's ask for grace and mercy, help and healing. And for Mother Earth, every living thing on it, help us to take on faith that the good will prevail, even here on this earth, that paradise will be restored. And please guide us to our part in that beautiful, beautiful process. Magdalena asked, what's on your shirt? It says, may the F equals MA be with you, meaning may the force be with you. And that's sort of as a slogan in Star Wars, like, may the force be with you. But they also say in Star Wars, the force will be with you always. And that is the truth. And may, please, please God, please Christ, Bruno, help us to open and receive the divine energy. God is with us. Please help us to connect to that, be guided by, and be filled by the force. Thank you so much for joining in, everyone. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Have a God-filled and force-filled and God-guided day. Take care. Much love.